Walk around the compound, see some tigers. Hey, wake up over there. I'm not talking to you. Noel, you are inside of your cave. I need you to wake up and pop your head out at once. Hello, Moali. Will you please go wake up your significant other? I know she's in there. We'll be here all day, Noe. Delightful. Noe. Noe. She says, it is still very early in the morning, Derek. It's not even that early in the morning. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. A bit brisk. Yes, a bit brisk. But not insanely early. Not insanely early. Look at her. She's still just over there. She's just over there. Let's get the angle just right. And she says, nope. She didn't even make an attempt. Didn't even make an attempt. Hey, I've got some cozy comfort over here. I'm good. I'm good. Oh, kitty cats. Wally! Wally, will you at least come over and say hello? Wally? Wally? Nope. I guess not. Huh. Well, without further ado, hello all you big cat lovers out there. It's me, Derek, again. Welcome to another super fantastic, wonderful, hopefully insightful and thought-provoking walk around the compound webcast. It's a morning of some sort. Thursday. It's actually Thursday morning. It's the day that the cast gets posted, so this one's probably going to get posted a little bit later. I normally would film these things the day prior, but there were some scheduling conflicts, and it just didn't get done. It just didn't get done. My responsibilities. I couldn't find the time. You know, Derek, a real man would find the time to get these responsibilities taken care of. A real man would have figured it out. A real man would know how to juggle the time, the schedule. Obviously, you're not a real man. Those are some of the things I want to talk about today. I want to talk about some gender things. I want to talk about just some stuff that I've been thinking about. Stuff like the words that we use, the things that we say to people. Biological considerations, social norms. Stuff like that. And it's not for any particular reason. It's not like I had like this thing that happened that made me like, oh, I feel like I have to talk about this. But you're always looking for different things to kind of talk about, you know, and your head gets wrapped around certain topics. Bonnie is very cute. Look at her. She's got her shoulder blade. See how she's like, there's meat. I mean, that bone is, there's tons of meat. I mean, inches and inches of meat, like all around that bone. You know, when you first give it to them. And then they eat it. And then once it gets down to more like bone level, then you see like she's actually really getting deep in there with that coarse and rough tongue of hers. Yeah. Now, but kind of going on to some of the stuff I was alluding to. I guess just, you know, different insights or or ideas, opinions that come from the perspective of me, who checklist, guy, man. So there's one of those things. And has a few experiences, you know, under his belt. And gosh, what was I wanted to keep this thing as like good and as sequential as possible, because there's a lot of different kind of things that I was touching upon. I think though that a lot of the stuff that I wanted to kind of hit upon was I guess the idea that that there's a lot of different things, and the world is kind of rapidly changing around us, and I think for a lot of positive reasons and a lot of positive things. And I think that people are generally, you know, they're starting to be a lot more aware and more cognizant of the things that they say, and the ways that they act, because they're so in, not necessarily so much by virtue, you know, of sheer morality, even though that is like kind of like the catalyst. But a lot of it has to do is because everything is so connected, and everyone is seeing each other, and everyone is aware of each other's business, and I think that a lot of things that are being challenged in the world today are notions of gender normativity and I guess like the different ways that, you know, that the genders would define themselves. Now keep in mind that I can only speak on the perspective of a cis male, CIS, the word that is used to describe, you know, a person who identifies with the anatomy that they were, you know, kind of biologically. So their gender identity and then the anatomy that they were born with is like, it's in sync. So that's a cis male. That's what I am. Heterosexual. And that is where my perspective can come from. So I can't, hi baby. Nice sugar pie. And keep in mind, like, we may kind of stray into some topics that are, I guess, a little bit more grown up in nature. Except squeaks. Squeaks are for all ages. Squeaks are for all ages. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Okay, wait, one more. Hi, Sass. Wait, where are you going? But I was like working out in the compound, and look at these dirty pants. They're so stinking dirty. I've been out and it stinks because it's just we're so busy, and like I haven't even started really like the big work of the day yet. But this is like days of accumulated just blah, and it's like work pants. It's like, well, it's not like I'm gonna be out here trying to like really, you know, I'm not hosting a fancy dinner party. I'm working with cats, and I'm gonna be out cleaning enclosures and getting more dirty. So not too much of a point. Hi, bud. To having, you know, pristine pants. But I think, like, you know, you see different things on the internet, and then there's a lot of different things as far as, you know, people really kind of fighting back against the feelings of marginalization, against their feelings of being treated as second-class citizens and treated in an oppressed manner. And it's really interesting to see like the voices that are now being heard that literally they would have never been heard like 10, even like 5 years ago. Like you didn't hear the same level of discourse and opinion on certain subject matters that as you hear now. And I'm talking like on a lot of different things about well, I mean, because I guess it's the whole idea that, you know, how people will point the finger at patriarchal ideals and views that have been propagating for centuries. I know we don't want me talking about such sensitive subject matter. Oh my goodness, these are controversial topics for controversial times. I guess it's the idea that, I mean, and there's you know, a lot of very interesting bits of dialogue that are coming to the forefront that a lot of people just simply haven't heard. Just never really kind of touched upon their radar. The struggles of certain members of the, you know, LGBT community, and you know, the struggles of women and whatnot, and yeah. So, and a lot of times, you know, you look at you know, the contributions of dudes into those types of things, and it's not always going to be, of course, the most positive thing. But I'm not going to have this whole thing. This is definitely not, you know, me wheeling up the podium and being, I guess, too saccharine of a, that's not the right word, saccharine. This schmaltzy, like, apologetic, you know, like, on behalf of all men, I want to extend my sincerest condolences for the treatment. And it's like, no, what I want to do is try to kind of break some things down, and I want to try to wrap my head around some topics, talk about things from certain perspectives, and then try to reach kind of an idea of just of moving more forward, not dwelling on this notion that, you know, there's this idea that of self-flagellation regarding certain things. A lot of the folks who are talking, and a lot of the folks who have a lot of opinions on the matter, and again, like I said, like, some of the opinions that I have, they may not necessarily jive with the ones that y'all may have. I've got a very diverse audience. I've got a very, that ranges from very liberal to very conservative, from a lot of different socioeconomic backgrounds, a lot of ethnic backgrounds and religious backgrounds. And I know that these topics can sometimes, they get kind of weird. And then people are sitting there like, why don't you just keep it to the cats, Derek? Why don't you just keep it? But it's just like, okay, I've been keeping it to the cats for, and I like, you, if you don't know that I don't kind of delve into some topics like this every once in a while, then, I mean, what do you should know that by now. If you've been watching the webcasts and you've been watching a lot of the content, then you know that I go into these things from time to time. It's not every single time. And if this is not something that you're going to be into, you can just click the next thing. It's easy. I'm going to go on to the comment section and express my disappointment. Click, 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 click. Some people are entertaining. Poopaluka. Hi, mister. Besides, the cats are kind of sleepy right now. Everyone's just kind of waking up, and no one's like running around and doing anything that's particularly fascinating. So, I mean, it's a good time for me to do the top. And I can't really film too much later on today because there's a lot of work that needs to be done today. So this is all right to touch upon some of this stuff. And I want to talk a little bit about my kind of ideas, and this is like stuff it's not like, some of my opinions, they're not set in stone at all. Like, this is more like thought experiment type stuff. Like, literally, as I'm out in the compound dirtying up my pants, I'm butchering cows and horses, and I'm sitting there thinking about whether or not, like, how much of a factor biology plays into the development of a young man's psyche versus how much of social norms and social conditioning develops the psyche of a young man. Like, this is like the things I think of when, like, I'm cutting into the flesh of a horse whose muscles are still twitching. Yeah, it is. It's what it's what I think about. Hi. Mr. Chompers, you are very cute and you have peats. Actually, capture. Hold on, gotta wait for the right look. Bam, capture. Ooh, that's a good one right there. Now, there are some advocates of these issues who will make the claim or make the argument that that all of the negative behaviors of men, and most of it is surrounding things involving sex. I mean, it just is. It just is. Most of the things about men are just completely somehow like orbiting the topic of sex. A lot of the violent and deviant behaviors that are displayed by some, certainly not most, but some men, definitely make it bad for the rest of us. And a lot of advocates of these topics will say that everything it's all based on social normativity, and it's all based on social construct. That men are simply taught to be a certain way. Men are taught to behave a certain way. That biology or nature does not have has a very small role in how this stuff kind of plays out. And then here's another thing that you also have to realize about excuse me, I had a throat thing. Here's another thing that you also have to realize, that the conversation, that the discourse on the internet that has brewed to just like these very large and sometimes just kind of like confusing proportions. There are advocates and individuals who are passionate about social justice issues, who I believe that they're very well thought out, and they're very rational, and they're very legit. And then there are some who I wonder if there's elements of the fact that they have been victimized, and they have been oppressed, and they have been marginalized, that there's elements of, well, I want to now try to, in a way, enact a vengeance, and I want to be the oppressor. And I want to really kind of dig it to those who have, dug at us. And I understand on a base, like, fundamental, like, primate level. I understand that reasoning. I do. I get it. But the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that there's a lot of trolls. There are a lot of trolls out there. I know, they say mean things, and then they also try to make it seem like some people have opinions that they don't have, and then they will intentionally try to fan the flames of discourse so that individuals get really, really heated and start opposing each other more than they normally would. That's crazy, isn't it? I know, it's really mean what people can do. It is. It is. And that sucks, because there's people out there who legitimately have, they've got bad experiences, or even from like societal perspective, they're just not treated the greatest. And it's one of those things where, I got a call coming in. I'm going to hit the reject button. Because I gotta keep on top of my flow. I gotta keep on top of the flow. Hi, Boom. Hi, Bud. But yeah, it's one of those things where, and it's like, I think that it's important that you hear the perspective of a lot of different people. And I talk about myself, as a relatively healthy, able-bodied, Caucasian, cis male, heterosexual. I mean, like, the privilege, as far as now is concerned, as far as our relative time within human history now, and in the geographic location that we happen to find ourselves in, the privilege is stacked, relatively high. I can admit these types of things, although I do think that sometimes that I have interesting opinions about that type of stuff too. Maybe that's different topics for a different day. As far as historical instances of basically every single group on the planet being just a bunch of bastards. It's like the whole thing about Genghis Khan. Wow, that blew my mind away about just how crazy everyone has been. And I did a lot more reading into the topic, and it was interesting. But yeah, I want to talk some more, because I want to talk a little bit about the upbringing of young men, of boys within our relative society, within are, for the most part, Judeo-Christian Western society. But first I want to talk about, some of the biologic considerations about the differences between men and women. And it can be broken down into just really kind of simple component subparts. Now, keep in mind, always there's outliers, and there are, what's the word I'm looking for? Exceptions to all cases, all the time. Not everyone is kind of built in the same, but from a statistical viewpoint, you can generally find your numbers lining up on either one side of the end of a spectrum or more towards another end. And a lot of instinctual proclivities for women are, this bristle, he's talking about that. No, because I want to talk about the differences between the two. A lot of instinctual proclivities towards women are, oh my gosh. Excuse me, instinctual proclivities to protect his noms. Yeah, there we go. Talking about instinctual proclivities couldn't have happened at a better time. You get an instinctual response such as that. I think that the whole, but here I gotta preface this by saying that the instinctual leanings towards both men and women is to sire children. That's basically it. Like, continue on the species, pass on your DNA, because we are not immortal creatures. We are not immortal. The only way that you can quote unquote live forever is to pass on your genetic heritage. It's the only way. It's the only way. So then it's going to be broken down into two different subgroups of men and women who are at their fundamental cores oriented towards the same exact goal, to sire offspring and to continue their quote-unquote lives. Rest. And I think that the way that the women are oriented, because it makes more sense, because, I mean, biologically speaking, they're the ones who have to carry the children. They're the ones who can be put into more precarious situations, and like they can only have a limited number of offspring throughout the course of their lives. Men, they just biologically, they can have a bunch. They can, I mean, like a stinking lawn sprinkler. I mean, the numbers are unfairly stacked, but that's how nature just decided to dictate those types of things. So it makes more sense that women have a fundamental biological proclivity towards finding a partner who is going to be monogamous, that is going to be to make this individual feel secure, make this individual and their offspring feel safe. That's like a lot of how and I'm sure that there's other parts that I know that I'm taking a very complex issue and I'm boiling it down to very raw elements, and I'm leaving certain elements out, but for the purposes of this conversation, those are the ones that I want to talk about. Some of those basic reproductive elements. And I'm talking about, like, from the perspective of higher primates, because that's what humans are. We're higher primates. It's not like lions and tigers, although we do share, mammalian ancestry. So there's some things that are relatively similar. But the male biologic inkling is to just get the numbers up, spread the seed far and wide. Everything the light touches should be covered in you. That's what biology tells men. That's what it says. Like, your worth as a man is dictated on your virility, is dictated on your desirability. It's dictated on how well you can achieve those numbers. And it's kind of a silly kind of thing, but really the only way, because like humans are simple, we're complex animals, but we're simple creatures. And one of the only ways to truly analyze those types of metrics is by just having like, well, my numbers are this, you know, for as far as encounters of a sexual nature therefore my worth is equal to about 7,000 masculines. Oh my gosh, you're 7,000 masculines? I am. It's dumb. It's dumb how guys think, but it is. It's true. A man's worth is valued by, you know, stuff like that. So by proxy, like this kind of amorphous concept of what that means, of what being masculine and what being a man means, kind of comes up. Like, be a man, be the thing that makes you worthwhile, be the thing that, hold on, be the thing that that makes you worth something. Because if you're not those things, then you're not really worth anything. And then it's almost like your instinctual proclivities will change, like when you don't have kids versus when you do have kids, because then like you still have that same orientation, but it kind of like adjusts a little bit. Like, okay, now that I've, you know, like spread the material far and wide, like how well can I go out and hunt, and how well can I gather, and how well can I bring things back home, and how well can I provide and keep my family safe, like at all costs. And like that's something that like definitely blew my mind, how much I am so strongly just oriented towards that goal, you know, like to the point like you don't even have, like, the people in your life, the priority is that they are safe, that they're happy, that they're content, that they're taken care of, that they're not for want, they've got good health and good spirits, and they've got a good roof. Like, the priority for that is up here. And then like my personal things, like, and even whether or not they like even love or respect me, like the priority for that is down here. The priority for just their basic fundamental needs that's up here. I think that's definitely based in a lot of instinctual biologic thoughts. And then it goes into this idea, like, you know, you get that characteristic kind of thing, like in the locker room, like, and now you've got young people and young boys who are taught by, you know, the people, their older brothers and their uncles and their fathers and their cousins and stuff like that. And this is, because it's like, again, is it all social construct or is it all biology? It's the age-old argument, nature versus nurture. And I think, of course, I think it's a little bit of both. I think that nature is the thing, that the catalyst that kind of kicks off a lot of this stuff, because I think that social constructs are developed by our natural proclivities. It's kind of like that adage. Well, it's not even an adage, but it's like more of like a scientific fact. Your thoughts make your brain makes your thoughts, and then your thoughts make your brain. Meaning, you know, your brain, the physical goo, like the connections and the neural pathways, they make your concepts, they make your thoughts inside of your head. But how you think also has an effect on the physicality of those neural connections, on those neural pathways. And I think that the same can go true with our biological, instinctual kind of leanings, our instinctual proclivities. And then the social constructs that get built up afterwards. Where's Akari at? Akari! Car! I think she's in the thing over here. I think she's in the thing over here. So I think though what happens is now you've got like a bunch of these, like, just apes, just monkeys, just kind of ooh, you know, kind of like rutting and grunting and trying to compare the metrics against each other and trying to diminish the worth of others while propagating the worth of themselves. You know, and saying, like, and to, like, one of the things about masculinity is that, like, a threat to your masculinity is one of the worst possible things. It is. It's like one of the things, like, on a visceral level, it hurts when someone goes up against, like, your notions, your ideas of what it means to be masculine. Because again, that's how you identify with yourself, and that's how you establish your self-worth. If someone threatens your masculinity, you know, they say like, stop being a puss, or stop being, excuse my language, stop being a fag. Like stuff like that. That threatens it. And that's where like people go into like that path to the dark side. Because now they're starting to associate those terms, femininity, gender non-normativity, different things that are, you know, varying like sexual orientations. They start to go onto that path and say like, well, it goes against the masculinity, the thing that defines me as masculine. It goes against that. And now you start associating that stuff with like, oh, well, obviously that's negative. Oh, that's bad, because it's opposite of what I want to be and how I want to identify myself as. And that's where it becomes very problematic. And that's where it becomes this thing that, you know, it happens, and it does, and that's definitely part of the social construct thing. The social construct thing that is rooted within a biological foundation. And it gets squirrely, it gets hairy, you know? And I've definitely been prey to that sort of thinking, you know, in my younger years, in my formative years. I'm not going to say that I haven't been, and because that, like, and I remember when I was a young adult, when I was a young man, and I didn't have the greatest luck within. Oh my goodness, I have a lot of good luck capturing cute moments. A lot of good luck capturing cute moments. I didn't have a lot of the greatest luck as far as, like, you know, romance was concerned. I did okay, you know, but like going on dates and all that stuff, not exactly my forte. It just wasn't. And I had a really good. I was good at attracting the attention of the opposite sex from afar, but it's because I ended up becoming very. I was able to become like theatrical, and I built up my talents, and I would put myself in front of people and on stages, and I would do all these different kind of things because I kind of thought, like, if I do this, then, you know, girls will like me, and, you know, I'll be able to, and like, that's like your little, like a juvenile kind of thought process. But I wasn't working on who I was specifically. I wasn't working on, you know, my sense of self and my sense of confidence. I wasn't working on all of those things that they make you an integrated individual, and they make you just an attractive person overall, just like regardless of whether you're male or female. I wasn't working on that stuff. I thought that by putting up this facade in front of me, that would be my ticket. But then it's like, again, okay, I would attract, you know, I would attract the ladies, and then I would be like, so, and then I would start talking, and then just ruin the whole thing. And then that messed with my head, because then it starts to come in, fly into the face. It flies in your face. The things that you've been taught ever since you were a little kid. Like, this is what makes you worthwhile. This is what makes you, it's what makes you a man, you know? Is to be able to engage with the ladies and get, you know, and be virile and be successful. What's the matter with you? And then those voices in your head, they start creeping up. They start really messing with you. They really, really do. And then it gets you into very, very bad situations, bad pickles, where, you know, you can get depressed, you can get, all because, you know, this biologic programming, these social constructs that get built up, and then it turns you, it really messes with your head. And there were periods, and, you know, and this is where, like, that quote-unquote nice guy, you know, syndrome kind of comes from, you know, because, like, if at first you're in denial, you know, like you go out to the clubs or the bars, or you try to get, you know, you try to get girls' numbers and stuff like that, and nothing's happening. You're not getting dates. You're not having nothing's going on. And then you don't want to, like, look inward. You don't want to blame anything that's wrong with you. You want to point the finger elsewhere and say it's their fault. It's not my fault. It's all those women. It's their fault. And then you start building up just a bunch of just crap, you know, in your head about the nature of how it is that the battle of the sexes, and like, there are some guys, they get on that path, they never get off of it. they never get off of it. You want to talk about like where a lot of these problems come from. And there's more to it than that. We only have a small period or a window of time to kind of go into these topics, but that's a big chunk of it. I really do think so. And I think that, you know, taking some of the pressure off of, you know, boys and young men like that, and saying that your intrinsic sense of worth and value is more than just the sum total of how many, you know, imaginary masculine points you can acquire. I think that that's a step in the right direction. I think that that's a good thing. Poopaluka. I don't care. You don't care. Yeah, so I was actually, I think that was the thought. I think it got out. Whew, I was kind of anxious about this one, not because I was worried about not because I was worried about tackling the subject matter. And I know that some of you might be a little bit just, they might be a little bit pissed off. Sorry, I can't. What are you gonna do? I think some of it's I think this might help some of you understand things a little bit better. And if you're a young man who has certain struggles, you know, that are similar to the ones that a lot of young men, myself included, kind of went through in our younger, more formative years, then if it can just help, you know, one of you out there, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But yeah, I was anxious about getting it all into one succinct package, into one webcast, and not get too rambling. And I think I did an okay job. So, yay for that. All right, let's just get a couple of kitties. We'll end it on no opinions, no topics, just kitty cats. That's how we're gonna end this one, okay? We're just gonna go around and just do some normal, oh, some moo peat cleaning. Yano, moo peat cleaning. Yano, cleaning his peats, mooing at the same time. Oh, Max and Mia. Yeah, and some people have been asking about Max and Mia, like, oh my gosh, they're kind of anti-social. They're a little bit, but it's like, yeah, because they're a lot more in tune with their wild sides, because because they had more social construct that will propagate their wild inclinations. Because the other cats here, they have the biology of wild cats, but their social surroundings didn't necessarily. You know what I'm saying? I'm being dumb. Bonnie Boo! Hi, Sugar Pie. You come over here. Why don't you come over here and say hello? Where are you going? Where are you going? Oh. Alright. We ended it with Noe and Wally. I think, well, we began with Noe and Wally. I think we can end it with Noe and Wally. But for Selena. It's like by the end of the webcast, like cats are finally up and out and they're walking around and they're kind of saying hello. Hi, Selena. Hi, baby. Hold on, I will get to you. Noe, I was calling for you and calling for you and calling, and I'm sorry, Noe, but Wally just flopped over on his side. And now he stopped. That was just dumb. That was dumb. All right, Noe. Noe. Just gonna sit there and just be magnificent. That's okay. That's all right. Let's just kind of sit here and just enjoy this for a little bit.